Hey, it's Grab and Go, and I am using my air fryer oven right here. I'm getting ready to put some ribs in there. I'll just show you. I've got it turned on. If you see the fan in there in the back, I can use that to make this a convection oven. But right now I'm just going to be cooking some ribs. I have preheated it right there, as you can see, to 350. It's already preheated. We're ready for me to go. And have you ever had this dilemma where you're cooking and you run out of barbecue sauce? So I've got all these ribs. I didn't have enough sauce, so I'm going to show you what I did to almost double the amount of sauce that I had left in this bottle right here, okay? And it would probably work for just about any barbecue sauce. I'm not sure, but it definitely worked for this. This is very good. I didn't even have a whole thing of barbecue sauce left. I had it was like maybe down to where it says great value. It was almost like half empty, almost. So what I did is I added some ketchup, and I added a big spoon size of the Grey Poupon, the Country Dijon mustard. So I added like probably a half a cup of ketchup, a heaping tablespoon of this Grey Poupon, and I used all the honey sauce I have. The neat thing is that when you look in here, because of the Grey Poupon, it added some of the ground mustard texture to this. So if you're ever going to be making something and you run out of barbecue sauce, remember you can probably add some mustard and ketchup, maybe even a little bit of brown sugar and vinegar. But there are things that you can do to help, extend the amount that you have in there. And then I'm just taking this little brush right here and going over my ribs, as you can see. The first thing I did with these is I parboiled them. Parboil, that's something that my mother taught me to do. She parboils a lot of things. She parboils her collard greens, and she swears that that's the secret to keeping them from being bitter. I have never made collard greens, but I am going to do my best to get the recipe from my mom so that I'll always have that handy. She's getting a little bit older. If any of you have parents or grandparents that are getting older, you need to get their recipes before they forget how to do them. And that is no joke, because that can happen. And it can happen quicker than you can think. So, plus anything in life could come up. It might be that their recipes aren't memorized, they're written down. Something happens and they lose their recipes, or they loan it to someone and they don't get it back. It's really bad. And don't ever count on if someone passes away that you're going to get their recipe book. You would be surprised. Pictures and recipe books tend to disappear. You would think it's probably more of the more valuable things that go disappearing after someone passes away. And in some cases that may be true. That people might go in there and start trying to take jewelry or steal the china, things like that. But honestly and truly, the things that are probably the most special are photos and recipes. One thing I did not too long ago with my mom is I went down there. I didn't get to get a copy of all of her recipes, but I got a copy of some. And it's not really a copy. I just took my camera, and with my camera I took some photos of her recipes. You know, I mean, to me that's better than nothing. Just in case, you know, that way if her box of recipes go missing for any reason, I at least have a picture of some of the things. I would love to put together a cookbook one day. Maybe put it out there on one of the websites or something and try to sell it, of my mother's old recipes. You know, she grew up back in the, goodness, she was born in 1930. She was the youngest of 13 kids. And something funny about that is that she lies, and she tells people that don't know her family or her family history, she'll tell them that there were 12 kids, because she doesn't want to admit that she was number 13, which I think is a hoot and holler. But hey, if you don't know the family, I don't guess it's gonna hurt much. But she always viewed the number 13 as being an unlucky number, so therefore she tells people that, you know, there were 12 kids. Her recipes, though, they go way back, and some of the ones that she has were her mother's recipes. So if you can imagine, my grandmother must have been born, wow, maybe even in like 1890. I know that she had my mother when she was in her 40s. So with that being given, 1890 would be the youngest that she could have been born. So some of the recipes that she has would literally go back to her great-grandmother, as told through her mother to her, to me. And my mother had me later in life. So I'm going to just flip these over and put a little bit more barbecue sauce on top. I have another bottle of sauce in the refrigerator. It's a different brand, because even with stretching this as far as I could by adding the Grey Poupon and the tomato ketchup, it's not going to be enough if anyone wants any extra sauce. See, I'm almost out here. So I do have a little bit of extra in the refrigerator. Hey, if worse gets to worse, I have actually saved some barbecue packets, you know, like from when we go to some fast food. Well, they're not really fast food, but like some of the barbecue places, and we pick up some of the barbecue sauces. I save those because sometimes when I'm baking chicken, and I'm only baking maybe a few pieces of chicken, then I have some extra sauce that I can put on top while I bake chicken. These are going to be so good, these ribs. And by the way, these are beef ribs. If you're wondering why these bones are so big, they're beef ribs. Well, one of my children, when they were little, they would take these, you know, they would get like one of these, you know, to eat on or something, and they're pretty safe. You know, I guess they were like 6 or 7 years old. They'd have one of these. And it was so cute because it just reminded me of like the Fred Flintstone cartoon. You know, like where they ate their ribs came from like dinosaurs. I used to love that cartoon. But anyways, that's what it reminded me of. Because my little old kid was just holding up the bone and just, you know, gnawing the meat down to the bone. It just looks so cute. Wish I would have had taken a picture back then. Well, I'm getting ready to put them in. I'm trying to get as much sauce as I can out of here. As much as I can. But remember, you know, if you're looking for recipes from someone, from a loved one, please, you know, think about taking some snapshots with your cell phone just so that you can go ahead and have the recipe, because those things really do shamefully tend to disappear. Thank you. My husband, he's probably thinking that they're done by now, but they're not. They're almost done. I got to stick them in the oven for a few minutes. Alright, so these are getting ready to go in the oven. I'm going to ask my husband if he can stick them in because I've got barbecue sauce on my hands. So you can actually see the ribs going in the oven. Alright, that's it. And we're going to cook them on 350 for probably for about 20 minutes because I parboiled them long enough that should do it. And I have got a mess to clean up here in my kitchen. This is grab and go advice. Hope you enjoyed the advice here with what to do if you run out of barbecue sauce. Advice about writing down some recipes or taking some photos of recipes. And just hope you enjoyed my video. Please click like if you did. And also, if you like my YouTube channel, please subscribe. Have a blessed day.